They just want you to sit in your chair and go, hip hip hooray, for the Western press and the Western narrative, regurgitating the same old, every single day, without this. Please watch the first 2 episodes, the second series. Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
And it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
Hi everyone, it's me again. Yes, this is the history of literature tonight. History of literature. I think it's going to be good because we've got a lot to talk about literature actually, but about biographies as well. You know, real time, not fiction. Oh, but yeah, you know, we love fiction if you know what I mean. But when you talk about the likes of Charles Dickens, for example, he actually speaks about real time. All his novels are based on fact with fact people. These people are factive from real life, especially the older generation people. I'm not talking about Pip. I'm not talking about Oliver Twist, but there was millions of Pips and there was millions of Oliver Twist during the 19th century. But the adults were real. And I just want to thank these people for sponsoring all the Carlyle shows, every single one, every single podcast, whether it's current affairs, whether it's football. And don't forget, if you're a football fan, I'm doing a watch along tomorrow, Frankfurt. Very important for Liverpool, by the way. So I'll be coming on 3/4 of an hour before the kickoff to have a pre-match. Then the watch along. Then the postmatch. So that's tomorrow. And as I said, the likes of Gap Painting Services, they sponsor all the podcasts, whether it's the history show on a Monday, whether it's now the history of literature, whether it's football, whether it's the current affairs, whether it's the Saturday morning, which is never, don't take a blind bit of notice of me. You don't watch anything. I told I was talking to Anthony today, and we were just having a general conversation, and these films come up, and I said, I was watching a cracking little black and white one, and he went, "What is it?" And I went, "I forget, but it's good." So I've got the title for him. So I'll be giving it to him later on during the show, the title, unless I forget. So he'll have to remind me. So anyway, it's the history of literature. Please listen, because you might have something to say yourself. You know, Anthony and I love your comments, whether it's on anything. Whether it's on anything. We do love your comments, and you might have something there that, you know, of literature. See what I mean? I think there's only Johan out of the film, and he said, "I'm watching The Outsider. The 2 episodes I've watched is great." So, you know, I think he's the only one. But anyway, that's the film and TV review. He's a cracking fella, you know. So, and before I go for Anthony, I'm just going up and seeing what everyone is saying. If he's saying it, that is. Oh, there's Johan. And he says, good evening, Frank and legends. Hope everyone is well. Smash the likes on the way in. Smash the likes. That's what we get, isn't it? Smash the likes. And Christopher, as I said, he came down to see me. And do you know what? He's a smashing lad, you know. He really is a smashing fella. So we sat down. We were having a general chat and that. And he said, I've got something for you. And I think it was brilliant. And it was this. Hang on, let me just take Gap Painting Services off. Just a moment. Just a moment. And it was this, if you can see it. And that's at the back. And these are photographs he actually took while he was at the game. Chiesa there, Federico. And right through. And he sent it was a lovely message as well. And there's the message, if you can read it. I think it's really, I'll read it out for you. And it's in red. He said to Frank, thank you for all you do for Liverpool and for your podcast. You'll never walk alone, from Chris. Isn't that lovely? I just thought, you know, a lovely gesture that he made himself. Thank you, Chris. That's going on the little mantelpiece. You know, like a Christmas card or a Christmas card or a birthday card. Can't say anniversary cards, no. They're long past. They're long past. Sell by date. Len says, evening Frank and Anthony. Thank you, Len. Good to see you. And Steve says, hi everyone. Steve Glazovich. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Useless at pronouncing names. And Johan says, good evening, Christopher. They're letting on to one another. Look. And Stefan says, Frank, did you hear yesterday's Klopp interview? 2 hours. Nice words for Liverpool, its people, and Diogo. Is that the interview where he was asked, would you come back to Liverpool? And he said, it's a possibility. I thought he'd never come back because of the internal things, what's going on at Anfield. That's genuine, you know, I'm not just saying that either. But, you know, what did James Bond say once? Never say never. As he said. And it's a fine saying, never say never. The lovely little Lambie. Hiya, Ellen. Hello, Frank and everyone in the chat. Everyone in the chat this evening. That's a little bit posh, isn't it? Nice and gentle this evening. And Stefan says, get in touch with Andy of Gap Painting. We'll tell you why later in private. I don't know what's happened to my Zoom. I can't do anything. I still haven't. I've got to sort out my. I've got to sort out my phone, and I was talking to Anthony today because I'm absolutely useless, really, with technology. And Jason can't come down and help me. You know, he really can't because he's so busy. He's got his own family to look after. He works. He's under floorboards and in attics and roofs and air conditioning things. He said everything. There is work that he does. IT. So anyway, Francina's picking me up. I've got to go to the doctor's tomorrow for a medical. And I'm just going to give her my phone and say, sort that out for me. You've got to sort it out, Francine. I can't do anything. And she'll say, oh, shut up, Dad. Then sort it out for me. Jason sorted out my password. He took my password and everything. I said, I've got a new password and I'm terrified to use it. So I'm going to show Francine my new password. Live my life. If you live in my head, you go, wow, how do you do this? Honestly, you would. But there I am doing it. The lovely Toscana. Buonasera, Franco. Evening, Anthony. And chatters. Hope you're all well. How lovely. Lovely. And the lovely Ambi again. Step and I just watched the interview. And there's my old mate. There's my old mate. Stephen Mulholland. Hi Frank, you mentioned the Cameo murders yesterday. I have the book called The Cameo Conspiracies, and it's another book I have read right until the end. Think about that. I'll have to ask Anthony if we're doing it next week. Or is it the man from the Peru? I just don't know. I'll have to ask him. God. Just keep forgetting what to do. Buonasera, everyone. Hi, Frank, says Daniela, our lovely Italian friend who lives in Barcelona with Stepan, who's French. You can't make these things up, can you? He's French, she's Italian. They live in their Spain. I wish I was living in Spain. I'm telling you now, I've got the polar neck on. God blimey. Anyway. Steve Evans, me mate. Controversial maybe, but Slot needs to drop Mo and Macca tomorrow. No, Steve, you're right, mate. You're right. I seen that thing you sent me, by the way, Steve. Oh, forget what it is. You said you're watching it now, 7 episodes. I'm sorry I never got back to you. I thought you were at work or something, you know me. And I can't get back to anyone anyway. Can't text or I can't do anything until that sort of stay you want to. I'm in a terrible state over my phone. Can't contact anyone. But you're right there, Steve. You know, he's got to do something, Slot. And if he plays the same team with, I'm not allowed to swear anymore. So I won't be swearing for the next 3 minutes. That's how sad it is. Anyway, Stephen says, The Ragged Trouser Philanthropist is another book. I have had 2 copies and never read. Go away. You've never read it till the end. The Ragged Trouser. Everybody reads that. It's in our socialist contract to read it. It's like 1984. You've got to read it. it's an incredible book, and Robert Tressel's actually buried here. You know, I don't know whether you're aware of that, Stu, but he's actually buried in Liverpool. Tressel. Do you know what? I went to the Playhouse once, Stu, to see the Ragged Trouser Philanthropist, and it was a musical, a bloody musical, but it was good. The Ragged Trouser Philanthropist, a musical, but it was good. And writes the story, by the way, as well. And Steppen says, yes, same interview, but he replied as James Bond, yes. Even if slot goes soon, hopefully, in brackets. Klopp just started at the Red Bull, so if he returns, will not be tomorrow, he stated. If in England, only Liverpool. Well, he said that, and I knew he said that anyway. I knew he said that, Steppen, when he was leaving. He said, you know, someone asked him, you know, it's a fair question by a football journalist. Would you ever come and or manage another Premiership size? And he just said, no, Liverpool's the only one. That was it. And Christopher, yes, it's the same interview, Frank. I was going to make something up about it, but I'll do it tomorrow. It'll be funny. I'll do that. And Kirk says, see? And Steve says, cameo murder happened there. Yeah, I know. I remember you telling me, you know. I forget what we were talking about, and you mentioned that. The cameo murders. I meant never read until the end. Never read, hang on. I meant never read until the end. You should do. And that's from me, your old mate. Stephen again. I would start with Enzo Robertson and Frimpong's. Get away from the football. Oh, I don't believe it. I haven't even finished Gap Kingy yet. You know, the sponsors. Speaking of history, says Yusuf, of literature. Has anyone read Intensity by the Dutch fraud? No, I wouldn't. Yusuf, are you having a laugh? See, you've made me angry now. You nearly made me swear. Phony him. And ask the Evans about him. Well, that gave the game away, didn't it, for Liverpool, actually. And everyone was fuming about it. They were, oh, what is he doing? Absolutely ridiculous, Yusuf. Want to say to Franco, and everyone says the lovely Bella Italia. Good evening, Bella. And Bella Italia means beautiful Italy. Yes. Totally agree. And Steve says, I have seen Robert Tressel. I've seen where Robert Tressel is buried and what, yeah. Seen him myself. You're right there. And Stephen says, reading still all the Edgar Allan Poe stories in the middle of the murders of the Rue Morgue. Poe never went to Paris, yet the stories was very successful there. It was Baudelaire who imported his tales in France. But really? Go away. Baudelaire. but I'm pronouncing that wrong as well. I'm going to finish on this wonderful, lovely lady, Mary York. And then I've got to get on to bringing the wonderful international artist, Anthony Brown, my mate. And Vera says, my late cousin, Philip Rickman, knew, and hang on, Philip Rickman's new and very last book goes on sale from the 6th of November called The Echo of Crows. He has written many books over the years about a vicar called Merrily. Merrily Watkins, who drinks and smokes. He died last October, just as he finished the manuscript. But his widow, Carol, has had it published. We're going down to Hereford to the book launch in Hereford on now. On now. 1st of November. Oh, that's November the 5th. I'm not wearing me. These are my distant glasses and I'm straining to read. So it's being launched on the 1st of November. Okay. Phil was born in Wigan 1950 and was a journalist on Wigan Observer. Okay. So he's an ex-journal, writing, and obviously a book author. Yes. Task. Yeah, you did. I forgot the name of it there, Stu. To be honest, I forgot the name of it, mate. Anyway, I've got to finish off on there. Bella says, Franco, I watched today on Sky the secret letters of Mary Queen of Scotland, and were done in code, so she wouldn't be caught about what she was saying. 3 people were decoding their letters. I don't trust people like that. They can come out with anything. I just want to finish the wonderful things here. And it's got painting services. Please, these people are fully time served, fully insured. And if you're an NHS worker or an elderly couple or an elderly person, please get them in. You get special discounts. These people are in and out. And even if, you don't fit into those categories, just call them out. Get a price. Get a price. Please get a price. And they will, without any obligation as well, without any obligation. They're very, very good. And I love them because they sponsor the Frank Carlyle podcasts. So that's Gap Painting Services. Please get them in. And you can actually bring them in without any obligation. Just say it. How much, they give you the price. And if you say no, that's it. No problem. If you say yeah, great. I'm bringing in my friend. You were talking about Peter Lorre today. Rick. You're my friend, Rick. Help me. There he is.
Good evening, my dear friend, and good evening, one and all. I was trying to remember all the names that popped up then. I've got off of them, but good evening to all, and including Peter Lorre. I love him.
It's funny though, isn't it, with the likes of Peter Lorre, and we were talking, weren't we, about Edgar Allan Poe's, I forget what the title is, and we have Basil Rathbone.
Yeah.
We had Boris Karloff.
Yeah.
We have Peter Lorre.
Yeah.
And who else?
Well, Vincent Price. We had all of them. I am still struggling. We spoke about 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, wasn't it? And I couldn't remember the name of the film then, but I've watched it. I've got a comedy of terrors. Right. I think it was the last film that our beloved, because we absolutely love him, Basil Rathbone was in, and possibly Boris as well. But I just think it's genius, and it sets my mind. If Shakespeare lived in a time where movies existed, would he have foregone the writing of books in order to
Write
write
scripts.
for a movie to
Write
hit
scripts
bigger
for films.
audience? I mean, as we know, the movie, the Hollywood scene is corrupt. We know that now through experience. But at the time of when it opened, the market was like unbelievable, wasn't it? It was just like
Yes, it was.
multi-millions of people across the globe. And you just know that there would have been someone working with R.G. Shakespeare and William Blake to say, put it in a script and we'll get it out there. You know,
It just shows you, doesn't it, that whatever era you live in,
yeah,
it's like social networking. Now, Steve Evans is a very good friend of mine,
yeah,
and Steve Mulholland, personal,
yeah,
been friends for years. And without any social networking, the likes of myself, for example, I wouldn't see anybody. I didn't know that some very close friends of mine who I grew up with and went out, from a teenager into our 20s. And when everyone dispersed because, people started getting married and whatever.
yeah.
And then I heard, I phoned up a friend of mine, um, and I asked about a certain friend who was his brother-in-law, ex-brother-in-law. And I said, how is he? And he said he passed 6 months ago. Now, I was at school with this fella. And I seen him all the time, in town when I was out. I'd always seen him, always had a drink with him. And I didn't know he died. And this is the isolation. And I said, well, why didn't someone let me know? He said, I thought you knew.
Because we're not on
He
the
said, I
scene.
thought you knew. Exactly.
Yeah.
And we were all surprised that you weren't there. I said, well, I didn't know. And I said, I can't get out the house anyway. Not making excuses or anything.
It's been on the scene. But you said it last night with the great man's words, where, life is short and snuffed out.
Yeah, life. Yeah, it is. Life is just a broken shadow, isn't it? It out brief candle. And that's what we are. We're just a little flame in a candle. You blow it out. We're gone. That's our lives.
But what keeps
I always think about the universe. I always think about a big galaxy or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're nothing. We're not even a grain of sand.
No.
We're a bit of dust. A little bit of dust that goes on your mantelpiece or on the floor or anywhere. We're a piece of dust. And that's our lives, man.
Yeah. And
if you know what I mean.
The way I look at it now, that we've gone through some stuff and we're at an age, I think that the immortality of life comes from memory and people talking about remember that time we did that with so and so, and you do it with your dear friends. I've and all of the chat I've heard you mention it, and that to me is the way. There might be people in our lives that we meet who are so abhorrent to us that we have no memories of them, don't want to remember them. But the people we do choose to remember, it's done with love, and it goes on.
Yes.
And, it doesn't have to. It's not a financial thing. It's not a a, a thing of materialistic value. It's just wow. I've had a bit of a couple of days since you and I've talked, and talking about my mum and dad, and we learn things in life without knowing really. And I'll do something, and Lainey will say, "Your dad used to do that," and that's right. Okay, that's a badge of honour. I'll take that. Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
Well, I think that's great actually because um, what families are like. People do take after the parents. It depends on even the mentality of parents. They take after.
yeah, yeah,
Like my daughter takes after me. Believe it or not, she's a
yeah,
good historian.
yeah,
She's a good historian, and my little granddaughter,
yeah.
you know,
Well,
she,
from what
she's
you
a
said
historian
of
as well.
Italian upbringing and the music and the stuff that went on in life, and you kind of sidestepped that. But young Sophia doesn't. She,
No, no, and she wants to go to university like the two brothers and Francine
yeah,
and myself. So I'm made up with that. And it's how families are run, and they're good people, and but you get other families who don't give a toss about their offspring, unfortunately. Christopher, hi, Anthony.
hi, Christopher.
Johan, good evening, international artist, Mr. Brown.
Oh, I'm sharing them grouse with you there, Frank, so you sleep tonight. Oh, you know what, Johan? Mr. Kindness, thank you so much.
And
Um,
Bella says, hello, Anthony.
hello, Bella. Hope you're well.
And Lynn says, evening, Frank and Anthony.
Good evening, Lynn. I hope you're well. All's going good with you.
And a little kiss each for us.
Oh,
How's that?
and straight back, Stefan.
And Stephen says, hey, Anthony, if I had known, I would have written my comment on Paul later. Sorry for that. All the best.
Oh, Stefan never apologized to us for anything. But I my enthusiasm for Poe came from when I was a child, which when I didn't really understand what his life was about. And when I discovered what his life was about, it was kind of Frank and I's sharing of the joy of people who give us so much when they have so little is like beyond. It's beyond gold. It's beyond everything, and we love it. Everything from William Shakespeare to our favorite William Blake. Um, all of this is done against adversity, and Poe certainly was that. And no, great.
Yeah, see, no matter what we go through a lot of things, a
Yeah,
hell of a lot of things. You know that, I know that. And when you look back with literature, and you're talking about, say, It could be anything. It could be injustice. It could be anything. It could be um, ignoring people. It could be anything,
Yeah.
because we're all human. And yet, there are some people. This is what literature does. It gives you a book. You pick it up and you read it. You can
Yeah.
put it down, if you, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Because, what's the old saying? Never judge your book by its cover.
Yeah.
And you can't judge your book by its cover.
Well,
If you,
we are book covers. We
yes,
literally all of us people.
yes. And, but you do get philosophers and you do get great writers who come out with some great quotes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And some of the greatest quotes, in my opinion, come from these great writers,
Yeah.
right?
Totally.
And
Yeah.
it's like Leo Tolstoy. What did he say? He said, um, what did he say now? If
History.
you feel pain, you're
Ah,
alive. If you feel other people's pain,
you're
you're a
human.
human being.
That's right.
It's an incredible quote.
It is incredible, Club. And what's more incredible is that it was written in a so-called different time,
Yeah,
and yet it still applies today.
yeah.
The same as my kind of witty angle on that would be Oscar Wilde, who said, um, "Be yourself, because everyone else is taken."
Yes.
So it's just as simple as that, and yeah, absolutely the power of that literature to write it down, to put it out there, and we recite it or we read it, and it makes us feel connected. You read a book, and it could be written in 1860 or whatever, and you are connected. We talked before, well, you guys talked before about the ragged trouser philanthropist, and the poignancy of that for me is that Robert Dressel, I believe, was coming to Liverpool on a couple of nights stop, and then he was going to America to talk about this, and he took ill and died and was buried in Rice Lane Cemetery, which is right off the beaten track. No gold beacons, no bling.
Do
Just
you know? I was. You said something about Oscar Wilde,
yeah,
and Oscar Wilde. You can actually see the corruptness in people with this
yes,
quote I'm going to say, right? And the corrupt. It's all about greed. It's all about greed, and this is the corruption today.
it is. Big,
Unfortunately,
big,
governments are corrupt.
little,
Sorry.
on big levels and little levels.
Oh, big levels and well, the little levels are someone like you and I. Yeah, well, you do that for us, and yeah. But the bigger levels, I mentioned an MP today. Don't mention her, and a woman, and she came from a council estate. She lived in a council house. She became an MP, and yet she has. In other words, I'll just say she's a multi millionaire. Ow, ow. And the quote I'm coming out with, what Oscar said, I can resist anything except temptation. Think about that. I can resist anything except temptation.
The more I read his work and the more I read about him, the more I love Oscar Wilde, because he didn't. He came into society and it was like, oh, join the Masons, join this club, join that, and he was happy to hang out with all these people. His demise, so called, was we all have a self-destruct button, and I think that's what happened with him. But he didn't give a stuff about how much money he had in the bank, how little money he had in the bank. We were all enjoying an evening, a day, a night, a life, and I love him all the more for it. But it's the tragedy, I think, hits us more when we look at what we're living today, and absolutely agree with what you said. People pretend to be something or humble or meek, and all the time they've got their eye on you, your cabinet there for what owner wants, or what's on the shelf for what's on. It's human nature. Not every human.
See, what we've read and what we've seen and what we've discussed, and I'm going to go back to Oliver Twist.
Yeah.
And Oliver Twist, this little boy, he was born in a workhouse, right? But he has a wide range vocabulary, and there was no education in the workhouses. No education whatsoever. And yet he was born there and he grew up there into a little boy when he was a little boy. And no education. Yet, and it was in the north of England as well, you know. It wasn't down in London, it was in the north of England. Because his little friend, Dick, his little friend, he spoke with a northern accent. Yet, Oliver didn't. And he spoke with the Queen's English, as it was then. Yeah. Victorian. He spoke a wide range vocabulary as well. And that's with no education. So there's the caveat for Dickens himself. But why did he make him, you know, as this little boy with, you know, a brain, you might as well say, and well educated? Because he had to get hold of the middle class readers. He had to sell the stories to middle class readers because no one else would read them. We couldn't read.
Yeah.
We couldn't read. And we couldn't afford anything anyway. These penny periodicals. We couldn't afford. We'd rather have something on the table, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is why he did it. This is why he did it. But the point is that greed, and lots of people don't realise about how greed manifests itself into Oliver Twist. Not just greed, but also envy.
Yeah.
And it was his half-brother, Monk's, the greed of an inheritance. That's why he went out to kill him. He set out to kill him. And the envy was Oliver himself. So it's a story of intrigue. We all know about Oliver Twist. There's been films made, there's been everything made. But I don't like it. Here's what I say to people. Got this bloody pain back. Here's what I say to people, Anthony. Try and not read. If you're buying a book, try and not read an adapted story.
Read the
Because
full.
it's edited, they take things out. See what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
So you're not getting really the full picture or the full story.
Edited. Yeah.
Do you know
It's
what
like,
it's like? It's like you painting. You know, you're a painter. You do all kinds of like everything. You've done a brilliant, in my opinion, uh, a, a, a landscape of the waterfront. An unusual one, very unusual one. To me, they're just lines, but brilliant. You also do paintings of people. You don't want to me.
yeah.
You don't want to me. But you've also done one of John Lennon and Paul McCartney and the rest of them. And wonderful people with your hundreds heads. Point is, what I'm saying about a story and like the likes of Oliver Twist is, and you know about the if you get an adapted one, it's like you leaving off a nose on one of your portraits.
I'm with you. Yeah.
You see what I mean? You're not getting the full story, whereas we're not getting the full face off you,
Yeah.
of a person.
Yeah. Totally get that Edison thing. Yeah. And it happens with music. It happens with all forms of art, without sounding pretentious. Because I think the banner of art is pretentious because it's been hijacked by, you mentioned in Dickens' days, the middle classes who had the money to buy the product. And it was as simple as that. If you don't change that in your story, you're not going to sell a few books. We're not going to make some money. And it's not worth me publishing it or printing it. And it was
Yeah,
as simple as that. And that still applies today on a whole range of stuff that we take for granted because we see it as a product. Well, what you're not seeing is the 50,000 at least other things that should be on that shelf. You know, going back, William Blake, there's not many people would take a chance on William Blake. And some of them would bring him in to do something in their product, and then it would go on a shelf.
that's great, though, you know, because we all love Blake, we all love his poetry, we love everything about him. And I'm going to say a quote. I'm going to say a quote, and I don't know where it came from. And I love quotes, as you know, but you do as well. You know, we all love the quotes. And I thought I'd love to know who said it. The measure of love is what you give up to get it. You're willing to give up to get it. That love. You're willing to give up anything to get that love. And that could mean anything.
Yeah.
The love of a woman or a man. The love of fellow human beings.
A career.
It just doesn't, it's not just for one person. It could mean anything. If you know what I mean. And I don't know who said it. And I'd love to know who actually said it. You know, willing to give up everything to get that love. Think about that. It's an incredible.
Too, it's powerful, but that's life's compromise, maybe.
Johan says, true words, Mr. Brown. We're alive until the last person who remembers us still walks the earth. That's great. That I'll tell you for why. When we were doing the gunpowder plot last night,
Yeah.
it's what Shakespeare said.
Yeah.
It's what Shakespeare said. She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow and tomorrow. And tomorrow creeps in the petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And if you think about that, it's only what Johann said. We all know about the Christ, Jesus. We all know about him. We all know about Julius Caesar. I'll just say that for example. I'll just say that. And yet, there are two queens in ancient Britain. And the only queen that's ever mentioned is Boudicca. Yet there was a far better queen. And their name was Cartamandua.
Yeah.
At the same time,
Yeah.
Boudicca belonged to the Iceni. Cartamandua belonged to the Briganti tribe.
Yeah.
And yet, why do you think, and this is all literature, by the way, this is the history of literature,
Yeah.
because it's in books and everything, but no
Yeah.
one reads them because it's history.
Yeah.
Now, why do you think Boudicca is well known more than this queen who was far better than her?
Well,
There's a reason by the way.
in a scenario where there's critics and historians want to write up something, you are a genius historian. You are the greatest historian in England, certainly in Liverpool. But what happens is people are sidelined. Whether you're selling an album, a painting, or whatever you're selling, they have someone to say, oh, yes, so-and-so is very good. Lives are built up and lost because of reviews. And in line with where we're going tonight, people who since their passing have been proved are great. John Keats. John Keats suffered the indignity while he was alive of bad reviews, mainly from Scotsmen who ran a magazine and said he's just a poor lad who was born in a pub. He's of no concern to us. And then it was after his death, I think it was Byron who wrote, he was killed by reviewers, not by cancer or a rocket landing on him, or because those reviews damaged him so much. He thought, you know what, you and I have been there. It's like, stuff it. That's the last one I'm going to do. And then, obviously,
you see, I'll tell you who that reminds me of there, about a poet who never got the acclaim that he deserved, because when he was writing poetry, I'll get back to Queen Cartamandua and Boudicca, by the way, when I say this.
But that's the parallel that I see.
Yes. Now, the thing is, with this particular poet, he wrote some of the finest poetry. He's known as now as the greatest First World War poet. And yet, it wasn't read at the time because they were banned. He was banned until
Yeah.
1930.
They chose not to read him.
Well, yeah, but unfortunately, the acclaim he had, he was dead. He never got it while he was alive. And that's the annoying thing. That's the annoying thing. Now, getting back to Queen Carter Mandela, someone keeps sending me a message. Oh, that's nice. It's very awkward when she, telling her about her cousin. I'll show that a little bit later on, please. Phil Rickman. I'll show it later on, Vera, if you're still there with us. Queen Carter Mandela. And I'll tell you for why Boudica gets all the praise. Because they wanted to make a big hero out of it. A defeated hero. She was defeated soundly by the Romans and was killed. She was married to a fellow by the name of Prasutagus. And he died. He was a client king with Caesar, client king of Rome.
Yeah.
And they were trading, a brilliant trade with everything. And this is what the Romans wanted to do. They wanted to just trade with ancient Britain. That's all. Now, Carter Mandela was also a client queen. And she was married to a fellow by the name of Venutius. And Venutius hated the Romans, but she was pro-Roman. So he took his tribe. The Brigantes were a big tribe. And he said, I will get these Romans. Anyway, with propaganda, because Queen Boudica took on the Romans, and it's all propaganda. No matter how you look at it, it's all propaganda. And she took on these Romans. But she was defeated soundly. And the only victory she had was she got down to Londinium, London. So she got there and she seen a couple of Romans, a few Romans. She had a big tribe of them, I see, let's get out. And they killed the Romans, and that was great. That was a great big battle. And it wasn't. So anyway, she was soundly beaten. The Romans went, we've had enough of you. And they went and got her and slaughtered her. But, for the defeat, and she took on the Romans, they made her a great queen. She wasn't. It was Queen Carter Mandela who was the great queen, because she looked after her people. She wanted the best for her people with trade, with the Romans. Yeah. Whereas Queen Carter Mandela brought her tribe into battle to be killed.
Yeah, and that's where the propaganda stretches out. When we were kids at school, when you open the history book, or the history teacher says, in a brief half-an-hour session or whatever, whose name gets mentioned as a fierce warrior queen.
There you go. As a fierce. Do you ever remember when they tried to, which was the most ridiculous thing I had, and they tried to compare Thatcher to her? She's the Queen Carter. She's the Queen Boudica of modern times. Oh, shut off. And she was defeated as well, wasn't she? She had to be right, she was defeated. Anyway, Stephen Steppen says, I was commenting on the link. I'm going to read these. I was commenting on the link of Paul with another dark writer and tormented poet Baudelaire, who was forced to read him at 8 years old, but came back to appreciate him recently. Go away. Forced to read him. Forced to read Edgar Allan Poe at 8.
Wow.
And he carries on by saying, bridging Oliver Twist with Oscar Wilde, we are all in the gutter. We are all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars.
Stars. Love it.
It's great, that.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Dear Oscar.
Yeah. And Daniela. I absolutely love Oscar Wilde. I have notebooks full of his quotes, and he was always right. Still now, to live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people just exist. That's one of the best, finest quotes by him actually, Daniela.
By
They
anyone.
want to exist. They do nothing in life.
Yeah.
They just exist, and it's okay for them. You know, they just go on existing.
We've talked about that often.
We always talk about it. You know, people try to make something of themselves, and if they can't do it, they pass it on to try and get their offspring to do something with themselves. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Give them an upbringing, to be respectful, to show some dignity to other people. Have dignity within yourself.
Yeah. Well,
that's what I did anyway, with Francine.
Stefan put up with All in the Gutter.
That's it, yeah. Well, they're both there, to live to live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people just exist.
Yeah.
That's a cracker from the wild man.
Yeah.
And look the way he was treated.
Yeah.
Stephen says Anthony lives when he creates. There. Anthony lives when he creates. He will always exist. It is reserved to very special people who are somewhere between the ground and the heavens.
That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful.
I'm sorry there isn't put it up.
That's Stefan, thank you. That's a beautiful thing.
And Bella says, Stefan, that's beautiful, what you just said to Anthony.
Yeah. Absolutely beautiful.
And Bella, I love the saying from the Bible, love is everything. Without love, we are nothing. Love is everything. Without love, we are nothing.
Yeah. And I agree, love is the most positive energy we can adapt and create. And that's friends, that's wives, that's husbands, that's children. It's without gain.
Well, that's it.
Be without gain. Just to be without gain, materialistic.
Yeah. And you know what as well? I write poetry.
Yeah.
I like writing about love.
Yeah.
I do, because it's a thing that is special for humanity. It's a thing about two people. And that's why I like to, write a poem.
Yeah.
And that's why I couldn't finish my last poem I was writing about oblivion, walking into oblivion. Remember?
Yeah.
And, I've got to be in that place. I was nearly in that, well, I've been in that place today, but I've been too busy. I couldn't, over the weekends.
Yeah.
And I thought, I can't carry on with this. But that's me. That's
Yeah.
me. And I like to write about things like that.
Yeah.
What takes me,
Yeah.
it was just like one night I was writing a poem called Blank Paper.
I love that poem.
Blank
If you've
Paper.
got it with you, you should read it tonight.
I
I
should
love
read
that.
it tonight.
Yeah, because I guarantee you, Frank, everyone who's been on with us tonight will connect to that feeling. I certainly connect to that feeling. If you look around, I don't know how much you can see in there, but if you look around, um, all the stuff which is in progress,
Yeah,
I
your blank canvases, which is coming out, which is, it's taking shape.
I've got to put colour on them. I do not work on a white piece of paper or a white canvas because it doesn't give me anything. It blocks. So if I kind of casually turn the kettle on and make a cup of tea and throw some paint at something, that that to me is a start, you know. And I got from your poem that feeling that everyone must go through the same thing. And
So
if
see
you've
if
got
we can
it in
see it
hand,
now. See if we can get it up.
the spot, I'm just saying it connects totally with the whole creative process, whatever you are, whether you're a carpenter, whether you're a writer, whether you're a poet, whether you're an artist.
I brought my glasses in this time because I forgot them last night. I had a terrible headache last night, Anthony. When I
Yeah,
finished, because I was straining my eyes. Let's see if we can get it. Yeah, there it is. Top one.
good.
It's a bit long. Um, Blank paper. Midnight, staring at blank paper. My mind devoid of thoughts. My eyes focused to the floor. The cat curiously hissing and prowling. Tick tock, the ticking clock. Fingers nearing the midnight hour. The cat still hissing and staring. A noise, the cat flap flips open. Gone. Mine wonders about the cat's disappearance into the darkness. What was it hissing at? What was it curious at? The clock's silence, no moving fingers, no sound, no tick tock, no cat. Still, blank paper, no inspiration. Deadly silence, a deadly blank mind. The silence suddenly broken. Tick tock, the witching hour descends. Chimes of midnight greets us all. Cat flap lifts, the cat prowling the hall. Ominous dark shadow following the cat. My mind, my blank mind racing, my brow perspiring, knees violently shaking together, hands trembling, heart pumping. The inspirational cat is back, and I start to write on the blank paper.
That's brilliant. I love it, and I so aspire to it.
I'll send this to you actually. I'll
Yeah,
send it. Let's see. No, I can't do it. I'm hopeless at sending things.
yeah,
Useless. I
yeah.
wonder if I can put it that way. No.
But that is sculpting the same way as someone looks at a blank piece of marble and you say, what am I going to do with that?
Yeah.
And then at a moment, it kicks in. What are you going to do? And it's the same with literature. I am absolutely hand on heart sure that Dickens, Shakespeare, William Blake, all of our greats would have looked at that blank piece of paper and thought,
But you've got to have something that inspires you.
you have? Yeah,
You've got to have the inspiration.
yeah,
And when I wrote that, I haven't got a cat. I've got no no pet, no animal here. And funny enough, I was thinking about a cat that night. I was just thinking about a cat. So, and believe it or not, I wanted to write, and there was nothing coming there. There was nothing. That's why I called it blank paper, because it was blank paper.
yeah,
And then I started thinking about a cat for some reason. And then I started to write.
yeah,
And that's what came up.
yeah.
Mad, isn't it?
No, it's not mad. It's a different way of approaching what we do, whether you call it work or whatever, we call it what we do. Um, it's like some people, with all due respect, go to the office, clock on at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and then you finish at at 5 o'clock. It's not the same thing, but it kind of, your mind has got a discipline that it's saying you need to do something. You said all day yesterday you didn't do a thing. You need to do something, whether it's writing, painting, whatever it is, and that becomes a handicap. You look at a blank piece of paper, and I'm talking literally, and I'm talking about everything, and you think, I'll look at it tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes, and I'll look at it on Thursday.
Yeah.
So it's all that time. Whereas if you put something on, I used to do the thing, and I thought it was just me, but it's not. If you do the same thing, you wake up at 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whatever. If you have a little pad at the side and you write the first thing that comes into your head, scrambled egg and dripping from a tree, whatever you write, and then you wake up the next morning and you look at it and you think, what the bloody hell's that about? Because your subconscious kicks in, and it's working with you. It's kind of saying, put something down on the paper, Frank.
Do you know what? I think that's great, that what you just said, because my old professor said to me, bring a pen, a pencil, and a notebook to bed. He said, because while you're like resting in bed and your mind from that day is emptying, and your thoughts, you start thinking, and you can't think, you say, oh, that sounds good, that sounds good. Oh, yeah, that's great. That quote, I'll put that in. And he said the next morning, all that, what you were thinking, is gone. That's why you should bring a note and paper to bed and write it down.
Yeah.
Because
I haven't done it for a while, but I'll do it again. But one of the greatest pieces of music, song lyrics, ever written in our lifetime was created in that same way by our own Paul McCartney. And he woke up middle of the night, wrote this stuff, then woke up the next morning and played it. And then he spent about 3 months talking to people he knew, bandmates and friends. Have you heard this? and these are the lyrics. And they're saying, no, never heard that. Because he convinced that he'd heard it and copied someone else's stuff. And that song was Yesterday. And he's repeated that story about 1,000 times in interviews over the year. It never changes. And it's, yeah, as you describe, and as we've both done, and as I'm sure lots of our beautiful chat have done. Where did that phrase come from? You write it down, whatever. Subconscious. You said it so many times. We both said it. Our brain holds far more than we understand.
Yes, we have said that, and it does. Do you know what it's like? It's having a memory going right back to when you were a child, or even like we're older than most of them on the chat, and it's going back to our early, say, 20s, and something triggers a memory, and you go, wow. And that only happened to me today.
Yeah. And
Uh,
it's like opening a cupboard and all the stuff comes out, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, it does. And I went, oh, it just came. A little bit, and I was watching the telly. I was lying in bed. I told you, didn't I? I was just lying in bed with Blake, and I said, I'll put the telly on, see what's happening in the world. And all of a sudden, this particular person said something, and a memory, hit me because of a few words. But it was a good memory, because some people have bad memories. I have bad memories.
Me too. Well, that's the overthinking side.
Exactly.
Turn that off.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant. Yeah.
And it's like, it's just like reading a book anyway. Let's see what Stefan says. Byron spent 3 years in Venice with 14 servants, 2 monkeys, 1 fox, and 2 dogs. Spent much of his time on the islands of the Armenian monastery. Wrote down one and gave its name to the Bridge of Sighs.
Yeah.
Been across, well, I haven't been across. I've seen it many times. The Bridge of Sighs. Do you know why it was called the Bridge of Sighs, by the way, Anthony?
No.
It was called the Bridge of Sighs because that's where prisoners were crossing the bridge to jail.
Wow.
And, when they seen it, they just sighed.
Heavy heart.
That's how the Bridge of Sighs was named. And beautiful, or Bella Venezia.
That's poetry in itself, though, the title in it.
Do you know what? First time, well, it wasn't the first time. Anyway, I was with my ex. I said, we're going to Venice. She went, oh, okay. So anyway, we got the ferry over. And we gets off the ferry. And her first words were, isn't it old?
Oh.
I just said, yeah.
That's where I'm happiest.
Isn't it old? And Toscana say, people who can write poetry amaze me. How do the words appear in your head?
You go. Yeah.
Thank you, Toscana. Thank you. I'll try and finish that poem off because I'm meeting Toscana this week, by the way. She's coming to Liverpool. She's coming to see me.
Yeah.
Visiting. And I'll try and finish that poem.
Yeah.
But I'll have to write it down on paper as well, and I'll give it a say, yeah, that's yours. Now. And Bella says, what a deep inner self. Beautiful poem, Franco. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And Johan, Frank and Anthony, do you believe in the concept of universal consciousness? They say that ideas and creation are just floating around in the ether. We need to tune into the frequency to listen to it. That's brilliant, though.
Yeah, I believe there's a thing, but it's not about someone special tuning in to this thing. It's about we can all do it, but we have so much going on in life, crisscrossing. Again, John Lennon came up with a great quote, and he said, creativity is a gift, but it only works if the air is uncluttered. So we think, you worry, I worry, we worry about stuff. We worry about stuff that should not enter our
It shouldn't
consciousness.
worry us, I know. And I'm not that I'm a terrible worrier, but this bloody thing about my phone,
Yeah,
it's really got me, Anthony.
yeah.
It's just the way they tried to con me.
Yeah.
And it was shocking. And I think it's wrong.
Yeah. But in life we have series of, every day is a series of little worries, big worries. Clutter. It's just clutter. Get rid of the clutter. If we were going out for a bevy when we were younger, and we're trying to get in the doorway and it's full of clutter, we just pick it up and just chuck it out the way, move it out the way, and go in. But our great Shakespeare, he wrote a quote, and I can't recall word for word what it was, but it was something like, may God forgive us for the doubts that would block something good coming out of us. That's a clumsy version of his quote, but that was his quote. So this is going back then. So that whole thing about you can't focus and do something, and what Johan's talking about there is a focus, really, and you tap into nothingness. You know, we're not thinking of the match last week, or how many people were on the boat today, and on the Mersey ferries. We're trying to find a blank space, nothing. And that's where
that blank space, don't you think that blank space sometimes is hard to find?
It is. It's desperately hard to find. And certainly if things are going on in our private lives, then it becomes harder. And imagine if, like we're talking about, our great state produce a great piece of work, and what happened then and what happens now is someone will read it and say, wow, William, that is just sensational. I want another one like that next Tuesday or the Tuesday after. And then we load ourselves with stuff. Just about a discipline.
Go on, sorry.
No, just about a discipline, about keeping some space empty.
and
And
then
we
trying
feel,
to fill that space.
yeah, we
You've got
feel
to
it.
fill that space with positivism.
Yeah, we do. But no one else does. Not your phone bills, not your mortgage advisors, not your all this shit wizardry of life does not fill that space. You know, we fill it.
Mortgage advisors, oh, blimey, what jobs did he come out with? Now, this is what I want you to do.
Yeah,
It's amazing. It really is amazing. You know the way some people. It's like Oscar Wilde, and Oscar Wilde said, "Patriotism is the virtue of the vicious."
yeah,
Think about that. Think about that.
yeah.
The virtue of the. And I think
Problem.
one of the greatest was Dostoevsky. And that's what he said. He said, tolerance will reach such a level that the intelligent people will be banned from thinking so as not to offend the imbeciles. And
That's
what's
that's
happening today?
that's what I say.
You're not allowed to think.
Yeah, and the other quote which pops up every so often you see on social media is today is a dangerous time for anyone to be intelligent.
Oh,
You know, and that's not a new quote, it's an old one, but I don't know who did it. And of course the one we talked about today when we were painting the fence of life and making everything ship shape was the Mark Twain quote.
oh. Do you
Well,
mean about, when you're talking to these idiots, don't talk to them because they'll drag you down to their level and hit you with experience. And it's true.
it's true. It's true.
It's true
Oscar
with
Wilde
politicians.
was true then, and it's true now. You
Yes.
know, it's just how we get it out, and that's the problem. And Stefan hit on a great thing before, and it's something that I've talked to you privately about, because I go away. Um, you inspire me for something, and I'll go and read about the person or their works, and it got to be kind of a double take because I'm thinking all of these greats. I mean, Stefan mentioned some of the poets, and I'm talking about Shelley and obviously John Keats and people like that going to Italy, and I thought, oh, must be the sunshine. That's where they go. John Keats went there for the weather, but everyone else went there because they were politically in Britain, politically bound, tied. Don't say anything. If you raise that line of argument or debate, then we will. And it kind of shocked me that um, Shelley had the Home Office send people round to his house to arrest him for his views. And obviously, his views were Mary Shelley's father's mother, who were what we would call free thinkers.
Free thinkers and intellects. She's one of
But
my
that,
great heroines. I have great
that
heroines, as you
yeah,
know, and Mary Wollstonecraft is one of them. Queen Carter is another. When you go through the years,
yeah,
through the centuries, really, and they're two of the finest people, two of the finest, Anthony.
absolutely. Because
You know,
even
leading up to the 20th century as well, through the 18th into the 20th. And the lovely Toscana says, Franco, I'm driving over to Liverpool next Wednesday. Oh, next Wednesday now.
Oh,
Anthony, we'll have to cancel those servants and all them meals and everything else, the chefs, because, I said that she was coming over Friday. So I'll have to cancel them all. I'll have to cancel that bloody limousine as well to drive us around Liverpool to show Liverpool.
You'll have to. We'll get some money back on them frozen chips. But
Do you reckon? Do you reckon we could go out tomorrow and put a little stall out with all the frozen chips and fish cakes and things?
£2.50, please, mate. Yeah. We'll buy something fresh.
A loaf. A loaf. And Owen, Owen. Evening, Frank. Anthony and chat. Owen Lee.
Evening, Owen.
Isn't that lovely? He joins us. And Steve Mulholland says, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing.
That's my challenge, Steve.
That's a cracker. No. And you know what? A little knowledge as well can be an envious thing to others. You know that, and I know that.
Yeah.
You know that I hate envy. It's one of the worst things in humankind. Envy, jealousy, the green-eyed monster, as they call it.
Yeah.
And it leads to all kinds of chaos, jealousy. And it's shocking. And do you know the jealousy is from within? The jealousy, I could go out now, right now, and walk, see a stranger and walk past that stranger and another stranger. And I could come across someone who I know, and they know me, and they could be jealous of me. Do you understand? And the same people who are jealous do cause chaos.
Yeah.
They do. I've experienced it because of jealousy. And I always remember someone saying to me, a lady it was, female, and she said, there's not a jealous thing. And I said, why would I want to be jealous? If you trust someone, there's no need to be jealous. If someone's got something that you haven't got, what's the use of being jealous? Let them have it. Good luck to them.
It's biblical, Frank. It's been there forever. And it's there. It is sad. It is sad.
Yes.
I mean, out of your 15 mansions, and my 15 mansions, and the massive big swimming pool we've got in between them, there's nothing there that we wouldn't give up.
No. It's so right.
We'd keep that beautiful Italian coffee you've got, and me and Laney would pick up a fruit cake, and then that's us done. Sorted.
That's it.
Nothing to be jealous of. All done.
All done. I'd love that. A little bit of tiramisu.
There you go. Okay.
Love tiramisu.
Yeah.
I do, love it. And
rich and beautiful like yourself. See, the problem is with stuff like jealousy, which has fueled so many pieces of wonderful literature across the years. Everyone from Stephen was talking before about Poe, from Poe to Shakespeare to Dickens to all of them, because it's such a driving, evil, unnecessary emotion. But it's like that insistent knock on the door. Just go away, just go away. It hasn't gone anywhere in all these years. You think now that we're living mainly comfortable lives of compared to Dickens's days and stuff, but yeah.
Do you know, Bella says, this is great, this. The well-known quote says, with freedom, books, flowers, and the moon, who could not be perfectly happy?
Yeah,
Oscar Wilde.
yeah,
That's brilliant, though.
yeah.
I've never heard of that quote, you know. And I love Wilde. Never heard of it. It is
It's not,
attributed to Oscar Wilde and comes from his letter. No wonder. I've never seen it.
I think he just had it.
Sorry,
He,
go on.
he just had it all the time. He was kind of born into that. This is me. It's like that line of be yourself because everyone else is taken. He didn't want to be anyone else. He was just proud to be himself. And all his quotes come from that inner, what do you call it, confidence or just inner, inner self.
Actually says, Achi. He
Yeah,
says, I'm just about to stir my chicken chasseur. My dog's jealous. He's sat here licking his lips. Hello, peoples.
well, dogs are allowed to be jealous. Actually,
Yes,
they're all right. Yeah,
yes, they're all right. Dogs are
they,
all right. They're allowed to be jealous.
they're not after your job.
Ah, fantastic, though. See, I look at when we're reading literature, and we go back to the likes of Dickens. I'm sorry, Shakespeare, and what he said over the years, you know, in his plays, and he was poking fun at England.
Yeah,
Well, he wasn't poking fun at England. He was actually livid with England for what was going on. And I mentioned last night about the gunpowder plot.
yeah,
And there was one thing I didn't mention. One thing. And I deliberately kept it away. And I told you today what it was.
yeah,
And I said, I was just contemplating whether to say it or not. And it was after the 1534 Reformation. And it went on right up to the gunpowder plot. And afterwards, it went up to the emancipation of a group of people from 1531 to 1830. And that was. People think that, I know this is a little bit of history, but you've all read it, you've all know about it, or you should do anyway. And it's about the founding fathers or the founding fathers of America. When they were exiled as the purge. It was a purge against groups of people.
yeah,
Other than, and it began with religion. It's all through religion. And it was shocking, because this country, and people go, oh no. And when you look at history, this country, you know, it was rootless. It was absolutely rootless. And there was ethnic cleansing of groups of people. Ethnic cleansing in this country, of people of this country.
Yeah.
And think about that. And
And
I said, sorry, go on.
And Ireland.
Oh, Ireland, yeah, absolutely. Ireland. People talk about flags. You get the Italian flag, ordinary flag. You get the French flag, ordinary flag. Spanish flag, ordinary flag. You get the Portuguese, ordinary flag. Every flag that represents a country. Now, what does the Union Jack represent?
To my way of thinking, it represents those parts of England that were occupied by the British. So Ireland, Wales.
Yeah, you know, occupied by the English.
So
That's who occupied the likes of Scotland, Ireland, and Wales.
Yeah.
Occupation. And, you know, you have St. David's Day, don't you?
Yeah.
Waving the flag, the dragon of Wales. You have the thistle, Scotland, waving the thistle. That's their own flags. You have the Irish flag.
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day. Now, have you noticed on St. David's Day, what do they wave? Do they wave the Union Jack?
No.
Do they wave the Union Jack in Scotland?
No.
Do they wave the Union Jack in Northern Ireland?
No.
There you go. There you go. But they love the Union Jack. Because it's a union, you see. They've all been brought into the union. The last country to come into the union was by William Pitt the Younger in 1801. And he said, I've had enough of this because of the 1800 famine. And he said, I'm bringing them into the union. But people didn't want to come into the union. The Welsh didn't want to come into the union. The Scots didn't want to come into the union. We don't want to be ruled by England. That's going on today in Scotland. It's going on today in Ireland.
Yeah.
Even Wales are saying, well, you know, why do we want to be ruled by Westminster? They're all frauds and corrupt.
Yeah.
They have their own parliaments.
Yeah.
You do know that, don't you? They have their own parliaments.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say it was going on today in Liverpool, but we don't have a parliament.
No. Because we look after ourselves.
Yeah.
We look after ourselves. It's like anything else. That's why you get great writers of plays, hard-hitting plays sometimes, by Liverpool writers, especially Bleasdale and McGovern.
I love them. Are they, in your eyes, Frank, are they carrying on the mantle of Charles Dickens?
Who?
Alan Bleasdale, Jimmy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, very much so.
They are writing from a working class street level to the world about injustice.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And it's the injustice of Liverpool that's gone on for many decades. And I mean many it's gone on for even going back to Disraeli. Disraeli. You're going back to the 19th century in Disraeli. And when Gladstone defeated him in an election to become Prime Minister, Liverpool was the hub of trade throughout the centuries, the hub. And yet, it didn't get a city status. It never had a city status. As Dickens called it, it was just a large town. And he wondered why it wasn't a city, why it wasn't a city. And that's Dickens when he used to come up.
Yeah.
And anyway, when he finally succumbed and died, it was 10 years later, in 1880, that we finally got our city status off Disraeli. Off Disraeli. Because he knew that Gladstone would make Liverpool a city status. Give the status of city to this big, large town.
Yeah.
Because of what it's done over the centuries.
But as you talked before,
it was jealousy because he won it, and he said, because they didn't like each other, and he was always moaning, Gladstone. But I always thought, well, why was he moaning at Disraeli to give the city status before he packed it up? And I thought he should have gave it.
Yeah.
Himself.
Presumed.
Yeah, well, he's the only British Prime Minister to hold office 4 times. Disraeli was Gladstone.
Yeah.
The only one.
Yeah.
And yet he wouldn't give us a city status until he had a words with Disraeli. He said, I'm going to give Liverpool a city status. He says, oh, yeah, okay. But he gave it instead. So he didn't have the pleasure of giving his own city the city status.
Mm.
And Archie says, unfortunately, there is nothing new under the sun. No. And Owen, our window cleaner rang the Louvre to see if they are keeping those ladders. Yeah, because it was all the jewels went. Wow.
Yeah.
And it was only done in a few minutes.
Yeah. They knew what they were doing.
Yep.
In and out.
How about this off Bella? Jealousy is the jaundice of the soul.
Yeah. Yeah. Cheers, Bella. Thank you.
It's incredible, isn't it? Incredible. And when you think about, Keats and that man and what he achieved in his early life, because he only had an early life of something that was taken away from him.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, so poignant, Frank. And I sent you. I know, and our wonderful chat know that we're not great fans of AI. Certainly not, our Jason who hates it. But occasionally it can restore a glimpse of what was in the past.
Yeah.
And recently, Oxford University did a thing to celebrate, not celebrate, commemorate the 200 years of his death in Italy, John Keats. They got a team which is global of people. And what they did is that they did a virtual John Keats life size figure that walked or moved and recited his last big poem, which was Bright Star. And they did it. It sounds absolutely painstaking, but they did his look first. They got his look based on his life mask, because there's a life mask and there's a death mask. Um, Obviously, the life mask is more preferable because it shows someone as they are or were. And then they readapted his clothes and he had a voice analysis to his voice, what he would sound like, which is basically a Cockney accent. And then he did it just for one night. And I've not seen the film yet, but if I find it, I'll send it across to you. Oxford University. So it was done and gone. Unlike the
Remember
man.
remember the film I said a little black and white thing that I was going to watch,
Yeah, yeah.
and it was made in 1953, and black and white film, Michael Rennie, and it's called Dangerous Crossing.
Dangerous Crossing.
Now, I gave you a little synopsis, didn't I, about how it started,
You did, yeah.
about that, the married couple going on board the ship.
Yeah,
Dangerous Crossing.
I'm on it. I will find it.
Great. Bella there. Jealousy is the jaundice of the soul. I hate jealousy. Really do. And actually says true wisdom comes with identifying one's own ignorance. And he says, Socrates, I think.
Okay. Well, that's good enough for us, Haji.
It's a cracker.
That's what we're about.
Whether it's Socrates or Plato or
Yeah.
anyone.
Timeless wisdom.
It is timeless, isn't it?
Yeah. See, that's a great thing about literature, with fashion and with music and stuff like that. It goes out of fashion. It's gone, and we wouldn't dream of wearing clothes that were, of a time gone. But with literature, with the written word, it's there, it's solid, like a house. It's not going anywhere.
No, it isn't going anywhere. It isn't going anywhere. And you know what? Yeah, like what we were talking about. There's a mad little quote by Wilde, actually, Oscar Wilde. A mad little quote. And he said, hang on a sec. bloody horrible pain. He said the only thing worse is the only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about.
Yeah. No,
The only thing worse.
he had a million of them. I loved it. I loved that quote before uh, about, we're all in the gutter,
Yes,
but some of us see the stars.
yes. And about existence as well.
Yeah,
That people are just there to exist.
love it.
That's very prophetic and profound.
Yeah.
You live a life. It's the out brief candle thing, isn't it? That's your life gone.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's it. But some people, unfortunately, don't have a chance to aspire to anything. They've done, but I'm going back years ago. I mean, centuries ago. They couldn't aspire to do anything because they lived in abject poverty. The 20th century is the most, shall we say, open. I'll have to say open's the only way. Albeit that we had 2 world wars, we had the Korean War, we had loads of wars. All wars, loads of wars. And yet, the 20th century opens everything for education,
Yes.
especially the latter part of the 20th century, where before then only the elite went to university.
Yeah.
Only the elite. You could be a bright spark and skirt, but you never had the opportunity to go to university because there was no money there. Yeah. Also, I think it was after the 50s.
Yeah.
You had the opportunity then, the ordinary people, of going to university. If you had the brain, that is.
Yeah.
If you had the determination.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You've got to be inspired.
You've got to be inspired. As you said, we're kind of, not to put too grand a word on, we're prisoners in our own life sometimes. If you're the eldest of a family, and this is my mum, it's what happened to my mum. My mum won a scholarship to go to university. She was the only one on Scotland Road that had won one, but she couldn't go because she had to be at home because, as you can imagine, the parents had to work. Money's got to come into the house because otherwise, it all stops. And that is unfortunately the problem with so many people of intelligence that didn't get to university to have a piece of paper stamped, but their intelligence stays.
Well, I know people who could have gone to Oxbridge, either Cambridge or Oxford.
Yeah.
And why they didn't go is because of cost.
Yeah.
Cost a fortune. And so I know, and I think as well, who I'm talking about, and we'd rather not say who we're talking about, because it would just cost too much, to their family, to his family. And how many other people are like that?
Yeah.
Who could have ended up at Oxford or Cambridge.
Well, now you wind it right back to one of our heroes, John Keats. Same thing.
Yeah. And even Blake.
Yeah, Blake, absolutely. I mean, Blake got in on a scholarship to the Royal Academy of Arts, and he went in a classroom and there's 30 people all doing the same thing. And he thought, this is not what I want to do. Where's the individuality? Where's the own, to quote Bella before, where's individual souls coming out and what they want to do?
Exactly.
So he left.
Jealousy is the jaundice, as she said, of the soul.
Yes.
When you look at different things, for example, you've got Johan there, and he says hell can be made attractive. So the devil makes attractive the road that leads there. And I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't know who said that, whether our friend Johan, and that's his own quote, because yes, remember what Shakespeare said, hell is empty, the devils are here.
Down here, yeah.
Now, what Johan's saying there, it's so easy to go down a path of where you follow the devil.
Yeah.
You just follow the devil.
Follow the light that's shining off the trinkets. They're not the real gifts in life.
No, they're not the real. It's the temptation again. It's like what Oscar Wilde said, I can resist anything except temptation. But that's greed, and that's greed of them lights. But at the end of it, there's destruction. I'll tell you what it reminds me of, what Johan said there. And he said, it's what Johan said there about, this path and the devil and whatever. And how destructive the devil, well, he never said it, but, you get the message of what that quote is, what Johan said there. And he said, no matter how you look at this path that you lead down to, it's destructive. And it reminds me of Dulce et Decorum Est Pro Patria Mori. And that's by Wilfred Owen, where he says, if you too could pace behind the wagon that we flung him in and watch his white eyes riding in his face, his hanging face, like a devil sick of sin.
Yeah.
Think about that. Like a devil sick of sin. The devil never gets sick of sin.
Yeah.
And yet, Wilfred Owen says, like a devil sick of sin.
Yeah.
Watch his white eyes riding in his face, his hanging face, like a devil sick of sin.
Yeah.
Incredible piece of it. And Johan carries on by saying, which is absolutely, look what he says, don't fall for the evil of AI, Mr. Brown. I'm firmly with Jason on this one. I have no time for it. And he carries on by saying, reanimating the dead is similar to witchcraft.
Yeah, I kind of, for me, it's a relatively simple or simpler version. Is Frank and I talked, and all of these pictures that are scattered around me are all because you guys, all of you, Frank and all you Buttes, inspired debate and talk, and I would read and I would say, I need to do this, I need to do that. And Frank and I talked the other day, and I'd already made up my mind, but Frank said, would you do a John Keats? And I said, absolutely. Then the problem we have, and again it goes back to classism, John Keats wasn't regarded as special by the hoi polloi, so there are no photographs. Luckily, there was a friend of his, Joseph Savage, who was with him when he died, who painted him 3 or 4 times before death and after death. And the AI was generated by this particular chap's life mask of him when they were getting to know each other. Rather like going back 400 years when Frank and I got to know each other and we opened up a bottle of grouse and there you go. The rest is history.
But the AI, as Johan says, I think what Johan means is
not to be trusted.
Yeah, because you can't. I mentioned it last night. Remember, if I said if we were going in to rob a place,
Yeah,
armed robbery, but
yeah,
the police were at, they didn't like. I'm talking about corrupt police now, and they didn't like, say, Johan.
yeah,
Didn't like him, and for some reason, so they got Johan and put him in that CCTV to be going in with us. And they said, we got you. So
yeah,
me, you, and Johan could be in Wandsworth doing about 50 years.
Do you know what, Frank? And the scary thing is, I think it's been going on for a lot of years.
Of course it has.
For
Well, what am I doing next week? Maximum.
On Monday, or we're doing a murder mystery with.
There's a mystery. Just leave it at that. But what one is it?
Well, there's an option of 2, and I noticed a couple of comments tonight. So, one option was the cameo murders and the corruption that led to that.
Okay, so don't say any more. And what's the other one?
The other one was the man from the Peru.
Okay, so what we'll decide it when I talk to you over the weekend.
Yeah.
And surprise them. Is that okay? I'm not finishing yet because Bella says, Franco, can you read one more of your poems before the end of the night?
I think you should read the unfinished poem, which I think, hand on heart, think you should leave as an unfinished poem.
And unfinished, like what Charles Dickens says with his
yes,
The Mystery of Edwin Drood.
I love that, but and maybe to rob a little bit from William in the background there, a candle not yet snuffed.
A candle not yet snuffed. Let's see. Let me read this one first. Remember when I said about...
Yeah, the place you were in.
Tell you what I'll read. No.
Well, you said tonight the fact that we're all human. That's what connects, I think.
I'll read this. And it's called Light. Then to that other one, the unfinished one.
Yeah.
And it's just called Light. And I'd written this in, what was it, 2018. I think I wrote it before, but when I went on the thing, it comes up on that date. I've only got to touch it, if you know what I mean. If you put a question mark there, it comes up on that date. So I wrote it long before then, 2018. And it says, it's called Light, dragged into the depths of despair, running and hiding from reality. Nightmarish dreams forever hovering, a tormented soul of self-affliction. The psyche of one's mind staring itself into obscurity, thus being isolated from normality, opens an abyss of self-doubt. But you, yes you, my light, my disguised angel of purity, shining through the darkness, leading me out of despair. O celestial Saviour from above, scribing loving words of true love.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And do you know what inspired me to write that?
Love.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you what it was. And it was John Keats.
Okay.
It was John Keats.
Oh.
And it was John Keats's quote. Remember when he said to his girlfriend, Fanny Brown?
Yes.
When he said, I have two luxuries on my walks. Your beauty at the hour of my death. Oh, to have them both. How powerful is that? And that's why I finished.
Yeah.
Because it's a sonnet. O celestial Saviour from above, scribing loving words of true love. Because what it is, it's just the O, it's not the O-H, O, it's just the O, what?
Yeah.
It's always put it.
Yeah, more like a plea.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, beautiful thing.
And it's just called Light. And I've done loads, Missing You, Two Wandering Stars, The Vastness of Space. And this one you like is, the unfinished one, blasted into the wilderness, rain swept across to nowhere, head bowed in a God-forsaken place, cold, trudging through to oblivion, tormented as mind racing away as grief takes a hold.
See, I think the power in that is all there. And I told you at the time you first read it, and I think that's what we are. That life is unfinished.
It is. It's like an unfinished symphony.
Exactly right.
It's like an unfinished book.
That's what I see it. And all our key people in our life are all part of the same orchestra, and they go through the same thing. And I do. I think that is beautiful as it is, powerful as it is.
Do you want me to just leave it then like that?
I would like to, but that's only me, I'm
No, I'll leave it at that. No
I
problem.
don't want to be a bossy get that was
No,
going to be this.
no, I'll leave it at that because I value your expertise. I really do because, we talk about the greats of literature.
Yeah.
You know,
What that piece says to me is it asks more questions than it gives, which is the wonderful thing about isn't the secret of life always to be curious and always to be learning? That's the way we look at life. But that is a poem which leaves so many questions unanswered, and that's good because that's life. That's the way it is.
and as Archie says, it might be time to prepare ASAP. The road to sin is already here. And it is.
It is. It's as you've always said, there's two roads. You can take the easy route with trinkets and rob a little bit, stave a little bit, or you can take the hard road
It's
or
like
the
the
hard
Pied Piper, isn't it, really? If you follow the Pied Piper and you're expecting to get to, utopia,
Yeah.
and you end up in a dystopian world.
Yeah.
Johan, I didn't mean to offend you, Mr. Brown. People as kind as you would never use technology for malice. But there are many wrongs out there, especially in the government. That's what I tried to explain
Yeah.
before, Johan.
And we are certainly not offended.
No,
And your
no,
point is so valid and scarily so in this modern age where everything can be faked.
everything.
Everything.
And as I tried to explain about you, Johan, Anthony, and myself, it's so easy to get this AI and put us all away. But we don't go down that way. We're just trying to get an image of one of our favourite poets, an image, and we try so many ways of trying to get this image because there's hardly any images of him, and that's John Keats.
Yeah.
Who died at a relatively young age. And I had a bloody job in his college. No, Lord Byron's college, I'm sorry, in Rome.
He was good, but not as good as John Keats.
No.
In my very humble opinion. But I mean, what I'll probably do, you've met our Tom, haven't you?
No. Yes.
Our Tom is exactly the same age next birthday as John Keats. His build and everything is the same. So I will get our Tom to sit in the chair, pose, and then I will ghost Keats's face.
That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Because don't forget, he was very thin.
Yeah.
And that's where that image, the AI, it was like fucking mine, chubby.
Yeah.
I swore then, didn't I?
He looks like, actually to me, he looks like an actor who's on TV, regular TV, a lot. He's a British actor, and he played in a church, call it a church drama, and I've forgotten the title of it. He's played in all sorts. He's played good guys, bad guys. James Norton. He looks like James Norton.
Northman. Hang on.
Norton, I think.
Is he in America now? The same fella, no?
He's just done the Guinness series on TV. You know, a dip into to Guinness. He's a great actor, and he adapts. You know, plays nice guys, plays snides, plays psychos. But yeah, I'll send you a photo tomorrow. I'll send you one on just.
Okay.
But it looks like him. So my intention was to find James Norton on TV, snap a shot, and say that'll do. I just gaff him up as John Keats, but I prefer having our Tom because it's
Tom, because Tom is he's got one of them faces, you know, Tom.
Yeah.
And he's shallow here.
Yeah.
And that's the way Keats was, believe me. I know that.
And
And don't forget he suffered from tuberculosis, so he had to be shallow.
Yeah.
Bella says, existing flows, a fleeting spark, from silent dark to morning's arc, a breath, a beat, a mystery deep. We live, we learn, we sow, we reap. How about that?
That is absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. and I'm so bang on right.
Well done, yeah, well done.
We're gonna have to put together a Frank Carlyle poetry book
Yeah.
with your poems and our wonderful guests.
Our chats, that'll be fantastic, that. The lovely Amber replies to Bella, that is beautiful.
Absolutely is. Yeah.
Now I'm jealous, Anthony.
No, you're inspired. We're all inspired by mixing with each other.
A lovely Toscana. So many talented people on here. Yeah. Do you know what? You'll be flattered, every single one of you, of what Anthony and myself talk about. All you people. Wouldn't he?
Yeah. I hope so. Absolutely hope so.
So it comes as no surprise.
Yeah. Beautiful chat, we say, and that is absolute from the heart.
Yeah, look at this. There's Jason, look. He's sneaking in, you know. He's been earwigging us.
He's just got back from the pub.
Yeah. Drunk, falling all over the place. Eating his trifle. And his apple crumble.
Oh.
He loves apple crumble. That was nice as well, Jay, what you done, mate. But you should have put a bit more sugar in for me. Anyway, he says, my spidey senses were tingling. I work with computers every day, and people are surprised that I don't embrace AI. A computer is a tool. It's not there to place to be creative. They shouldn't replace the paintbrush or the songwriter, etc. AI will disappear up its own backside because of one simple rule. What's that? GIGO, which stands for garbage in, garbage out, and I can't wait.
Yeah. I totally agree, Jason. Art galleries are full of AI supposed paintings which aren't paintings, you know. Yeah.
That's great, isn't it? And Stephen says, well done, Bella Italian. Don't be jealous, Frank. Meeting talent is true an inspiration to him and excel.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know people don't think I'm jealous. I've
Yeah.
got a jealous bone in my body.
They know you're not. You sowing the seeds. That's what I say. That's where all of my recent stuff is coming from. You know, and I'm not the only one, obviously, who's giving thought to positive thoughts.
Positive thinking.
Yes,
Positive thinking.
what a wonderful way forward.
I think I was going to say something. Oh, but that's great. And Toscana says, bravo to Bella. And on that, what do you think about tonight then, mister?
Loved it. I mean that's me being selfish above hopefully everyone else loved it, but I loved it because we're, we're connecting. We always called it the history of literature because it's a time and a place which now transpires that it's as current today as it was in the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s. And it, for me, it's wonderful to see how the dots join, where it comes from, why it came. You know,
See,
love it.
would you agree with me here that I'm not saying about wonderful people on there. I'm talking about, I have to say it, a majority of people, right, who's never picked up a book and they can't be bothered with a book, albeit they know the names of, the most famous names. Obviously, they'll know about Shakespeare. Mention Shakespeare. Oh yeah, mention Charles Dickens. But if you just say, well, I love a poem by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Hey, you see what I mean?
Yeah,
They just know iconic names,
yeah,
if you know what I mean.
yeah.
And they don't know anything else because even Dickens, you say, well, have you never read Hard Times? Never heard of it. Oh, okay. Have you ever read A Christmas Carol? Oh, well, I haven't read it, but I've seen the film.
Yeah.
Because I think everyone's seen that film.
Yeah. See, that's a problem, and the problem I feel during that gang is that um, depending where you come from, our education can veer from shit to so, and it's just needing the spark, the seed to go. You know what I'm like, and we'll talk, and you say, "Have you seen that film?" No. Watch it. Have you read that book? No. And that's how we learn, and that's how we're learning together, and that's why the maybe on our literature show, there should be at the end of it drop a book, a couple of poems. Just check them out. It's not like homework. It's just like check these out. These align with what we've been talking about tonight.
I'll tell you what's a nice little book to read. And most probably everybody's seen the film and whatever. Don't forget that the book is always different from a film.
Yeah.
And that's John Buchan's the 39 Steps.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you and I talked about this, and I've seen the film, like 4 different adaptations of the film.
Yeah.
over many years, but I've never read the book. But I will read the book because you said do it, and I totally get that the book is totally different from film because it's your mind that takes over the visuals. You're not watching the visuals. You're imagining them. Just you live in them. I used to love that with. I mean, obviously, we talked about Dickens being the most descriptive writer, but there's many brilliant writers. You know.
Do you know what? It's great, because I think what you've just said there, I'll put up a quote here, a comment, and it's by Bella. Now, don't forget, our Bellas are Italian, pure Italian, like the wonderful Daniela,
Yeah.
Stepan's partner.
Yeah.
And she says to Toscana, I think my English is getting better through Franco's shows.
There you go. Sow them seeds, Frank.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah, it's the whole tonight. The comments have been just absolutely beautiful. They've been wonderful, very kind, very humbling, and very brilliant. The poetry has been fantastic.
Yes. Yes. And this is all because of the words in a book that's being written by greats, whether it's prose, whether it's poetry, whether it's philosophy. That's the way I
Yeah, that's
And
right.
Bella says, thank you, Stepan. Isn't that lovely?
Yes.
And Stepan says, excuse me, great show, great group of people, great pieces of art, great words of wisdom. It's a rare place that you have created with this alchemy you have together. Wow.
We have together.
They all have. It's,
You think, yeah, we're all in it.
as the Italians would say, insieme. Insieme. All together.
Yeah.
It's like anything. I've always said this on every other show as well. It's you out there. You're the great contributors to everything that these podcasts do. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Cheers.
Johan, knowledge is a seed sown whose fruit others can rejoice in. Knowledge is a seed sown whose fruit others can rejoice in. Isn't that fantastic? Thank you, legends, for a fantastic show as usual. Have a good night, Eb. Isn't that lovely?
That's beautiful, Johan. Thank you. And right. So right.
It's fantastic. It really is. Stepan, Bella, Toscana, everybody, actually. Everybody.
Yeah.
I haven't missed anybody. Oh, please, I confess, says Stepan, I feel my brain and spirit have reached an oasis after a Hmong desert crossing. It will never be enough. Bloody hell.
But we enjoyed learning, Stefan. That's why I'm here. I mean, on a piece of paper, Frank and I are poles apart.
Wow.
Friends. But I have enjoyed learning so much over the past couple of years.
And look at Jonty. Now, you know, Jonty's been listening in. Thank you. Really enjoyed listening to you both. Made my day.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What a wonderful thing. What a wonderful thing to say. And
I
straight
think
back
it's
to you.
unbelievable. You know, it's just, there's no words, is there? I can't come out with words. I really can't. To show gratitude, really. And Toscana to Bella, your English is perfect.
Yes.
There's no way I could write what you did. Wow.
Is beautiful. High praise indeed.
And Toscana says, tonight is why this is. Tonight is why this on here is better than watching mindless rubbish on TV, says the lovely Toscana. That's incredible. And Bella says, Franco, I love poetry. It lifts my soul. Thank you. No, thank you. You know, who are the most important people on here, Anthony?
Our beautiful friends, our beautiful chat family.
It's as simple as that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's you know, we're not here just to like sit here, and it's everyone on here.
Yeah.
Everyone, and the comments are absolutely amazing. And I'm not just talking about tonight. I'm talking about the history show. I'm talking about football as well. I'm talking about everything.
Yeah.
Everything, even the bloody Saturday morning film and TV.
No, it's great. We all inspire something in each other.
I think we do because again, inspiration. I've always had a love of poetry. I really have. I used to. I grew up in. Well, Anthony knows where I grew up, and I was a predominantly working class area, and my friends were lovely. They were lovely, lovely lad, tough as nails, and I used to get called the odd bod, the odd body, because I was used to be a fella who lived underneath me, and he said, why are you always talking about poetry? I said, why? He said, because I hear you. I hear you every night when I go to bed, because my bedroom was above his bedroom, and I used to recite poetry, and he could hear me, and he used to call me the odd body, the odd body, away from the lads.
Yeah.
And I said, Anthony, didn't I, about when I was going to see Macbeth, and we were all going to his 21st birthday, one of the lads. And I said to them, I'm going to see Macbeth. And one of them said, well, bring him along as well, he'll be all right. And when I went to, see Macbeth, I came out, went straight to the house where the 21st party was being held, because there was no social call you could get anywhere like you do today. And I was asked, where's that fella? I said, hey, that was it some fella named Mac? And I said he wouldn't come. Rather than me go into an explanation, I just said, he wouldn't.
Totally get that. I mean, the only thing that saved me growing up, and I was the same, but more with the drawing and painting and stuff, was my family, who kind of threw uh, a kind of guard around, against the world. He's not that hard. He's Tony. He's all right. You know.
And Stephen says, Baudelaire, have I pronounced that right, Stephen? Baudelaire said that the genius's childhood recaptured at will. Wow. Anthony may have hinted to that.
Yeah. Well, I I I think it's a natural thing that we choose to do. I think literature and art is a natural thing to do.
Yeah, I remember Francine saying to me when she was a little girl, will you draw me a lion? I
Yeah.
said, yeah. Or a monkey, I don't know which one. But I would say like a monkey. And I said, yeah, I'll draw, and there's me drawing away. And it came out like a lion. Or, she wanted me to draw her a lion and it came out like a monkey. I forget now, but it was one or the other. And she started crying. I want a monkey. That was the experience of my drawing, my
Great,
sketching. In other
great
words,
quote about art is by Pablo Picasso. I know you're not a fan of him, but I,
no, no.
but his quote was, "Every child is born an artist. The only problem is trying to remain an artist as we grow up, because we're knocked into careers."
Yes, do you know what I greatly admire? You've never been to Florence, have you?
No, I've been invited twice,
Yeah, I do know that.
but
When I
no.
was in Florence, I seen sculptors,
Yeah,
statues, and they were. Do you know what it was like? And you're talking marble. It was like getting something today, getting a big lump of marble. And you're talking the 1500s, the 14 and 1500s here. And it's like putting it in a machine. That's perfect. Like a laser machine.
yeah,
And say you wanted a statue of, say, say you wanted a statue of, say, Sophia Loren, for example, when she was 25. And that would come out perfect. A perfect face, a perfect neckline, a perfect body, legs straight down, everything, hair.
yeah.
And those statues from 14 and 1500s.
Some earlier.
Ah, I couldn't believe them. And you're talking like veils over the faces,
Yeah,
veils over the faces.
yeah,
And it's all in marble. You see the face, then the veil,
yeah,
but the veil's marble
yeah.
out of one big piece.
I
I
know.
couldn't believe it. Anthony, I couldn't believe it. I was going,
It's mind blowing, Frank. It's mind blowing. I mean, you have certain generations who um, take up a trade. The young lads and ladies go and take a job with someone who does that, and then you learn, you pass the gift on, as you're doing tonight with knowledge. It's about passing it on. You pass it on. shared, goes bigger, goes wider. All was the same. I never had a painting lesson in my life. I wanted to be a painter. Went to art school, and my mum said, um, my mum was solid with whatever I wanted to do, but she said, there's no chance of jobs. This is hard. This is in the late 70s. There's no money in art. I wasn't thinking of money. I wanted to be a painter. She said, why don't you study graphic design? So I did for 8 months, and then I said, this is a piece of boring as something very boring. So I left art school and picked up a paintbrush and a guitar, and then you bang your head against the wall, don't you, for years?
And you became a hippie.
Well, kind of like you as well. When someone says no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You think, well, I set my whole sat nav on doing that, and you say no. There's not a position for you to do that. So
That's bad, isn't it?
you find your way through, don't you? You do something else.
Yes.
So I'm part of me now that I'm an old, miserable, moaning get, is that um, I'm quite proud of not having a piece of paper. Unfortunately, that includes a £50 note as well. But you know what I mean? We live and we learn.
God, oh, there we are. Well, anyway, I'll just say these wonderful people. Owen Lee says, Frank Anthony and chat, thank you for your company. Brilliant and informative show once again. Thank you. Thank you.
Owen, that's lovely. Thank you.
And Ambi couldn't finish. She must have said, thank you. Thank you, little Ambi.
Thank you.
And Stephen says, for you, Mr. Brown, extract the eternal from your FM. Some author, same author. Thank you for what you are giving to us and being the light of the campfire around which we gather. Isn't that great?
That's great. And that's a lovely way of putting it. And that's what Frank and I have always said. We talk, we bounce it out, you talk, we share it. The old Celtic way.
And Johan, we really need to start compiling material for the ballads of the chat. Oh, isn't that great by F. Carlyle and A. Brown?
Oh, you guys are all compiling it. I love the idea of whatever Frank and I are attentively making plans to do something with our work and Frank. But how lovely would it be to have a book of poems or verse or wisdom from you guys as well as Frank and us, just putting it all out there.
Putting us all out, yeah, of course. And Bella says, Franco and Anthony, thank you once again for a fantastic night. Loved it. Good night, everyone. Good night, Bella.
Good night, Bella. Thank you.
Buonanotte. And Steph says, Frank, I saw in Milan, various versions started but unfinished of La Pieta. Somewhere abandoned after 2 years because the tiniest default in the marble was deep inside. Wow.
That must be heartbreaking.
Oh, a default. That's great. Self-taught artists have always been exceptional compared to industry plants. Hacks, in brackets, says Johan.
William Blake would put 2 thumbs up for that. Thank you, Johan.
Buonanotte tutti. That means good night all from Step.
Good night, Stefan. Daniela.
Yeah, and Daniela. Right.
You need to get your teeth and get your kip. And
Do you know what I might have? I told you I made some pasta, didn't I?
yeah,
Might have some of that.
do that. What time are you on tomorrow with the with the footy?
3/4 of an hour before the kickoff. I don't know what bloody time the kickoff is, whether it's 8 o'clock or what. I just don't know. But we'll find out. So it's 3/4 of an hour before then, before the kickoff, so we could have a pre-match,
Yeah.
and then do the watch along, and finally do the post-match. So it could be all tears again.
Okay.
Toscana.
If the slot machine pays out.
Oh, look at that. Buonanotte, Shogni Daro. Sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams.
How lovely Toscana.
Keep a pad by you.
Who's not coming now till next Wednesday. Supposed to come on the Friday. So what will we do with all that? So we'll have to tell the chefs, won't we? We'll have to tell the chef, who does all these wonderful things, and we have to tell the other chef who does all the lovely sweets and things, not to come.
Of course, yeah. Oh, they're going to have a right cob on because they're Italian, Full-blooded, passionate about their work. And what about the opera singer? We've got a cancelliere as well.
Yeah. And do you know who else? The gelati maker, the ice cream maker. Because they were coming over, weren't they? 2 of them. One was doing all the plain stuff and the other fellow was doing all the mixture stuff, like strawberry, chocolate.
Our word is not worth
No.
a mouldy carrot.
And what about that, the fellow with the chicken legs? Because he was going to come in, wasn't he, and say, well, do you want a plain? Do you want it like Kentucky fried? Do you want it like...
We just put it to him straight. You'll have to cluck off.
Or just shut off.
We'll make it up to you along the way. Stick with us.
Just buy a packet of what do you call them? Magnums. Put them in the freezer. Yeah, do you want an ice cream? Yeah, okay. Johan, 8 p.m. tomorrow, Franco. Good luck for the game. Thank you, Johan.
8 a.m. 8 p.m. Wow, that's a late one, isn't it?
Yeah. And even the lovely Toscana says.
Yeah.
And she says my son's at respite next week. That you know that we're only joking, don't you, Toscana? Because we love you.
Yeah.
You're only joking. And good luck. Do you know his son? Just sat there and listened to who's the greatest of all.
H.G. Wells.
Yep, H.G. He was fascinated by it.
Yeah.
She said. Beautiful. And she's laughing at us, look. Pulling tongues at us.
Yeah.
So anyway, Anthony, I've got to thank these wonderful people for
Yeah.
sponsoring the Frank Carlyle show. Please get them in. Gap Painting Services, fully time served, fully insured, first class lads. They'd even make you a cup of tea. And if you're an elderly person or couple, get them in. Don't struggle. You get a special discount. And if you're an NHS worker, please get them in. Don't struggle after heavy shifts. And you're trying to decorate for Christmas, please get them in. Because you get a special discount. And anyone else, just please get them in and get a price without any obligation. That's Gap Painting Services, the wonderful people who sponsor all the shows, every single one. And we have to thank the producer, Jason Pennington, for being Jason.
Yeah, brilliant.
And just before I say to Anthony, don't forget all you football fans, see you tomorrow night, hopefully, for the watch along. And the most important people to thank, Anthony, are who?
Our beautiful friends, our chat family, and it is a family. And
without them, Anthony, what they wouldn't be.
It'll be you and me on a park bench, Frank. There would be no show.
In the ring. Talking about John Keats and William Blake.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, people. Thank you so much. Hopefully, see some of you tomorrow. Definitely see us, these again, football fans, on Thursday. Definitely see some of you on Friday for the current affairs and all the swearing that goes with it. And Saturday morning for the film and TV review. Thank you so much. And to our lovely Italians, ci vediamo. Ciao. Ciao, Bella. And to everyone else, good night, people. I love you all. Good night, Anthony.
Good night, Frank. Thanks, mate.